All right, now we are finally here, boots on the ground in Ohio. This is pretty exciting. It's our first time here. That was a pretty brutal drive.
Yeah, the drive sucked, but I got to ride the whole way, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the genius that bought a new truck right before we left, and I went from a full size to a mid-size pickup truck. So a little tighter quarters than normal, but whatever. It was a fun drive regardless. So I'm excited that this is only like 6 hours from our house though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a drive, but I mean, we can do this for a long weekend, 3, 4, 5 day hunts and stuff like that. But right now is what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna confirm those pins and those things that we looked at for that e-scouting.
Yeah, so we're gonna go look at these pins for the first time and try to verify that what we looked at is correct. And you know, we'll see what we see.
Did you charge your phone?
My phone's ready. I got it in offline mode because the service is a little spotty here. So it's always a good idea to download the maps beforehand. The last thing you want to do is get to the property and realize that you don't have service and you're looking at a white map of pins. So we're going to go in. One thing that we're going to take note of is what are the trails like on the way in and out. We're always thinking about access and how we can access a property as quietly as possible with the minimum amount of pressure on the deer. So
yeah,
we want them
wind,
to
noise, and any type of disturbance. Yeah.
Yep, and we're also going to verify our specific property doesn't have any ag on it, so we don't have to worry about a farmer. We are going to reach out to the timber company and try to figure out, you know, when the timber cuts are scheduled for, if there's going to be anybody on the property kind of poking around, but I think we're going to be all right. So our main goal here is figuring out access, trying to find some bedding, and looking for food sources.
And also confirming what we saw.
Yeah, exactly. Making sure that what we looked at on that e-scouting is accurate here in the field. So let's get to it.
Let's do it. I mean, this is promising, right? I mean, we're in that first spot that we came to look at, and there's a tree stand here. It looks like it's been here for a few years, but
yeah, it's growing into the tree. But it's important to also take into account like where other people have hunted properties. We're not the first people to hunt this. You know, clearly, if somebody brought all this stuff back here, odds are it's probably a pretty good spot.
You also want to know, how do they access this spot? Were they just busting through prime areas, or were they sneaking in the way we were trying to sneak in? So
yeah, and we'll probably hunt this a couple times and try to get some observation in here, but it could be that this spot is completely blown out. You know, we don't know the other guys that leased this property before us. So it's kind of like 50-50 good and bad that there's a tree stand here. It could be great that we were onto something, that this is a good spot. It could be bad that these guys maybe educated the deer and you know, they're aware that they're hunters here. So
yeah, luckily it's a few years old, or
yeah,
at least it looks like it's 4 or 5 years old.
It's pretty banged up. It's like grown into the tree, but we will we'll mark this on the app and make a point to kind of pay attention to this in the future.
Yeah.
So obviously, again, we mentioned before that it's the summer and you're not going to see a ton of sign from last year, but
that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, you got to scrape here, so we're going to put that down and kind of remember this area. But this is reassuring that you know there's clearly buck activity in this area.
Yeah, I mean there's small rubs. We're kind of on a rub line right here too. So, I mean we picked the spot, we came here, and now we're just confirming everything that we saw.
Yeah, and you can kind of see some faint trails through here. I mean this is a good spot. There are definitely deer using this. Probably put a camera up here and see what we get. So here we are at another one of our pins. This is an awesome looking spot. This is the area of bedding that we looked at that has ag over in the corner and a really nice kind of saddle coming up into it. So I really like this spot. There are multiple bedding locations all around this point here. And this to me really tells me there are going to be some deer in this area all the time, because it really doesn't matter as long as the wind is coming like somewhat westerly or even southerly here.
Yeah,
like we're golden. So the fact that there are multiple bedding locations for the wind really tells me there are going to be a lot of deer in here year round. And it's also got some nice understory and some good growth in here. It also looks like there's some white oaks in this area, so the deer are going to be bedded in tight to here. I really like this spot. I like our access coming in here. I think that this is a pretty promising location.
Yeah, when you talked about having a lot of bedding locations, there are literally different spots to bed in, but then there's also, we can actually see some of the beds in these areas. You can see they've got the wind at their back. They can see down below them, and we're going to try to skirt that to be on that outside of them.
Yeah, this is a great spot. So we're gonna find some trees to hunt in here. This spot would be great. I like the back cover, but a little too close to the bedding for my comfort. So probably gonna get about 75 yards that way, which is also near that hub that we found.
Yeah, right where that saddle is, and we're just on the outside of the bedding and next to that saddle, so we should be able to ambush them there.
Yep, and the fact that when we say hub, what that is there are multiple locations that are coming up into a central spot. So if you think of like an old wagon wheel, the center of it with all the posts coming out of it, those are the trails that are leading up into it, and it's a good high probability spot.
This looks like a really good tree for that spot we're looking at right next to that bedding area.
Yeah, so we're about 100 yards, yeah, give or take 100 yards from where all those deer are bedding. And I really like this tree. Billy and I were talking about it here. I like the fact that we can hunt and use this trunk as cover on our backside. And there are a lot of areas that the deer are gonna have to come through here. This is that converging hub. So there are trails that are gonna all come through here, and any deer that's bedded there is gonna walk this way and give us a crack at it. So the other thing that I really like here is the access. We're able to come in off that old logging trail into here and just quietly climb up in there. I think this is going to be a real productive spot for us.
Yeah, we're just out of the view of where all those beds were. They're not going to be able to hear us even if we come through on crunchy leaves and things. But I do like your idea of taking a blower and blowing out some of these leaves so it's completely silent when we get in, because it's not that far of a walk from that logging road.
No, and the other thing that I really like about this spot is for the majority of the winds that the deer are going to be bedding in those locations, our scent's going to be blowing just off here. They're going to be bedded there. They're going to be safe. They're going to feel very safe to bed there. However, we're going to get a shot at them, and they have to come by in bow range. So overall, really good.
So this is going to be one of those access points that we talked about. It's like a really old logging road, but I mean, there are white oaks right here. It looks like a nice oak flat that I mean, I almost want to hunt here on one of our access points. I think that's one of the things that we didn't realize that we were going to be.
Yeah, it's hard to tell that this is an old roadbed here, which the deer are going to seek out and find. And I mean, there's a white oak there I can see. There's one here. There are a bunch of them back in here. So this is going to be a really good early season spot. What we'll probably do is in like mid to late September, early October, we're going to come through here and speed scout this. Try to just look for really fresh sign, look for an oak that's dropping, hunt it a couple evenings and see what's in there. But definitely a good spot to drop some pins and hunt.
Yeah, it's just an unexpected, find for us. Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about. You can even see how this is rounded over. Yeah. This kind of comes to a point, and we just came up and bumped some deer. A couple smaller bucks. I couldn't really tell what they all were because it's still pretty thick in here, but they're bedded. They're bedded right here, right in all this thick stuff, right where we thought they were going to be.
This is exactly what we're looking for, exactly what we're talking about, where there's topography coming down, thicket, I mean, just like you mentioned.
And then it drops right off.
Yep.
That's why they're bedding right here.
Exactly.
Perfect. This is beautiful.
So lastly, we're here. This is a great saddle. As you can see, the topography all kind of funnels down into here with this as a low point. There are a couple trees right around here that provide a lot of good back cover. This is a great spot. It's connecting that crow's foot over there that we saw through here, and they got another saddle right over there. So this is a great spot. I mean, I like this a lot when we saw it on the map to begin with. And the fact that we bumped some deer and we saw them all run right through here really is kind of like proof positive that they're using it, they know it's safe, and it's a good spot. There's tons of sign just all through here. So lots of old rubs that we've been picking up along the way.
And that property line is not far from that, where that crow's foot is. And I don't think that's not the property that had the hunting pressure with the food plots and things like that. So we don't know if there's a lot of hunting pressure over there, but we do know on the other side there is. So we're just down from that bench right now. I mean, I think this is going to be an ideal spot because we can shoot right onto the bench, and those other bedding areas are close. Yeah,
this is another great spot. So hopefully this video helps you guys figure out what topography to look for and how to take a property from just gaining permission or getting access to it, to e-scouting it, to boots on the ground. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave some comments below. We're more than happy to answer them, and hopefully we're right. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in these pins that we found, and it looks great, so time will tell.
We were able to confirm some things, so I mean, let's just try to confirm it this fall.
Yeah, but thank you guys for following along. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're showing you some videos of a lot of successes and not failures, but we're going to show you anything. So
yeah, we'll show you everything we got.
Yep.
So,
So
thanks.
follow along, and thanks for watching. Are you recording?
I hope so. Want me to make sure?
Yeah. Check.
Hello. No one is available right now. Take your call.
Call me never.